Here's one. All right. We should be good, Dylan. We're live.
We're live.
Everybody can see us.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, about to turn you up.
All right, let's do it.
Sorry about the delay. We had a little bit of an issue with a family gathering that kind of went over, but I am here. So welcome. Happy Tuss Talk Fridays. Thank you for everybody that switched over to YouTube. I think it's cool for a format change. I think it'll look better in the long term. I'm trying to up my quality on this so that we can really boost our numbers. And I think it's going to work out really well for us if we continue to push this. And so I really want to try it out as a new format. So obviously Top Gun's on camera with me, which is cool as hell that I have somebody else up here with me. He obviously looks a lot more like Jesus than I do, but we are both long hair gang. So if you haven't seen Top Gun, there he is in all of his white strip glory on his hair. Yeah, so it's another exciting Friday. Everything in Discord is dead as hell. Absolutely nothing going on anywhere, so I assume this won't be a huge turnout. But it will be interesting to see if we can start pulling some numbers on here. That's what I'm really hoping to see. Yeah, so let's talk about what we're going to be doing today. I do have a good friend coming up from Invincible Robots to speak to you about his Discord community. Of course, it's free. There is a paid service on it. You know, he's been a really good friend to me for quite some time. He's got a hell of a list of credentials. He's a really great guy, and I wanted to give him a space to be able to speak with you all as the investors and talk about what he's going to be doing for everybody. So the first, 15 to 30 minutes, maybe even more if he wants to go over, we're going to talk about his Discord, and we'll shield the link to it. And then, once that's over with, we'll talk about all the stuff. So it's going to be kind of a longer one. I hope everybody's okay with that. I am, of course. I'll be talking all night. We're actually going to be launching the Walrus podcast next week on the 28th is when we do our first live session. So, they've told me that I talk a lot, so I think the best format for us is podcast, so I get to really speak to everybody in a very casual manner about anything I want to. So, yeah. All right. Well, let me add him. And let's see if it calls him. 8th is when we do our first live session. So hey, so you got my stream on in the background. I don't know if you can mute it.
Yep, I got it.
All right, what's going on, buddy? If you want to introduce yourself, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, it's fun to be here on the other side. I've watched a bunch of these. My name is Trajan, and I'm a former financial advisor, CFO, CEO, and crypto guy.
Yeah, and so a little bit about our relationship before we go further. We have been friends probably since I ran Snowy Owl and Arctic Fox, wouldn't you say? We've been friends for quite some time, haven't we?
Yeah, back in the olden days. How long ago was that?
It feels like
that was 3 protocols ago.
Yeah, yeah, man. It feels like time just is not the same here in the DeFi communities, right? But yeah, I think you kind of just scathed over it. But you were indeed a CFO. You've had many titles in the corporate world. And now you want to give back to people, and you want to do it via this Discord that me and you have launched. Well, you launched it, and I just came in to help set everything up. And so I guess the first question would be, what is Invincible Robots?
Yeah, so I guess you talked a little bit about it. My background is finance. I graduated in finance, got an MBA. I was actually worked on Wall Street for a while, worked in Silicon Valley for a while, and have been a CEO and CFO. So I'm a big finance nerd, which of course is what drew me to DeFi. And last year I hit my financial independence goals and retired. Early retired is what they call it, and I wanted to start something that I could help others do the same, especially after being in crypto and meeting a lot of crypto people and seeing some things go well. And then this year has been really tough for all of us with the market, the crypto market, equity markets are down. And so I wanted to create a community where I could kind of give back to the community and for myself, and then from other investors that I know from a network that I could bring on in the Discord, and then create some videos and some podcasts from people that have retired early, who have run companies, who have been investors for a long time in different areas. Like I've got a good friend of mine who makes millions a year in real estate. I'll be bringing him on. So it's a financial education platform.
Yeah, and you really, like, from when we first had our talks, I really felt like the sense that you didn't see it as just that. It was almost like you wanted to do like that grassroots community building and had like this financial place that you could speak about any kind of finance, right? And you still had that same kind of community feeling that of course that people say that I brought to to Frozen Walrus. And so I really appreciated that, and that's why I said that I was so behind it. Always, I love communities, and I think that you also enjoy that a lot as well. So I think the first time that we posted it, we've got you up to about 150 members. I don't see it staying there forever. I do think that you have a huge sum of knowledge. And I remember when we first started talking together, you really wanted to focus on teaching people to really balance out their portfolios, right? And I told you that was huge for people like me, especially that were not in the finance world. That was only in DeFi, right? And the amount of security you get from being able to spread out your portfolio to not just crypto, right? Because that's the most volatile one you can be in.
For sure. By the way, I've seen a couple of people say that I'm too far from my mic. Let me know if this is better. My mic.
I can actually turn you up. Hold on.
Been working, yeah, or turn it up.
Yeah.
There.
Okay, all right. So you guys tell me if that's better. Crypto Gamer, Temporal Ice, and Disco Chuck all said I'm too far away. So I'll also talk louder.
There you go.
Yeah, but yeah, for sure. Having been in crypto and DeFi, I've met a lot of people, and I'm prone to this as well. Is we get into crypto and we go all in on crypto, and without considering the whole comprehensive package. And as my time as a financial planner, I know that's a very common thing where people get involved in crypto or real estate or whatever, and they get myopic and short-sighted. And I want to help people build a comprehensive financial plan through education.
Yep, and I said that from the beginning is that if I can bring my community there to educate themselves even better past crypto, because really that's not my avenue, and to have you offering so much free information that's obviously on that Discord, and that will be. There's already a ton of like podcast formats and YouTube videos and things like that you could really learn. And we'll speak a little bit about kind of the stuff that you will be talking about. But I guess the next question would be, how do you help investors?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, the first way is speaking from my experience as an investor. I've been investing over 30 years, which I guess tells you I'm maybe a little bit older than some of the guys on here.
Yeah.
But I started investing when I was a teenager, so I've got a lot of experience as an investor, and then just running different companies, investment companies, working on Wall Street. And then in addition to that, I want to bring on, kind of like how you've done, Lame Hillbilly, on these Discords and on these Fridays, bringing on other investors that have done a really good job investing, that make a lot of money. I mean, I have some people lined up that are making, several of them make millions a year and are worth millions or tens of millions. And I want to open it up. The difference, I follow a lot of financial podcasts, and it's great to listen to investors to hear what they're doing. But I want to get it down to like something applicable, where we can get some of these investors in a room, in a chat, in an AMA like this, and just ask them questions and say like, well, how did you do it? Tell me some of the steps. I'm going to build some content that can help people get more specific in steps on what they can do to build their portfolios.
Yeah. And, I don't think that you'll be self-proclaimed, but I'll be honest with you, man. These people that are listening know me, and you know me. I don't link up with a lot of people in this space. It's one of those things that, I just don't do. And so, like, just as a side of, how do you help investors? You're a very, very nice person. I'll be honest. And some of the initial meetings with you, I knew some of your credentials going into it. And I was almost nervous, right, to meet you, because it's like, I'm just a 28-year-old hillbilly that's running a DeFi project, right? And to have your caliber just come and meet me, and then like speak to me like, as an individual, it was a nice change of pace. And so I know that you have a really good heart. And so I just wanted to make that clear. That
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
That's so nice.
So yeah.
Well, I've really liked what you've done with the community at Frozen Walrus, because you impart so much knowledge in such a good, forthright way, and that's how you've been able to build a community. And I would like to do something similar that's specifically for finance, for a broader finance, because I'm sure the reason why we're all here in DeFi, everybody says it's for the tech and we want to make the world a better place. But when it comes down to it, we want to make money. We want to build a portfolio.
That's right.
We want to have our money working for us so we can kick back on the beach or whatever we want to do, and not have to worry about financial stress. And it's been tough for all of us the last 6 months to see this downturn. And I think things are going to be turning around. We can talk about that later at some point. And it's this is the time to build in DeFi. But it's also the time for us to get more educated in what kind of portfolios we want to build for when things pick up.
Yeah, I agree. And I would love to pick your brain about what you see with the current market conditions. And I'm sure that we have some questions about that. And just for the questions, I'll have Top Gun read the questions on the AMA chat in the Discord. But if you have any questions and you're in the YouTube, go ahead and put them in there. You can ask anything, and we'll
keep track of them. So
and we'll get the answer for it. So the next question I have for you is, what is your overall investment experience? I know you spoke a little bit about it, but maybe break it down one more time.
Yeah, sure. Well, like I said, I've been investing for 30 years. I used to invest people's money as a financial planner, where I'd work with high net worth individuals and family offices and companies, investing their money for them. And I did that for years and years. And then I worked on a trading desk on Wall Street. So I've seen it from a lot of different sides. I know how financial planners work, what their fees are, what the costs are for different mutual funds or insurance. and I know how that works. I know how family offices work. I know how Wall Street works. So I've kind of got it from both sides, from the inside, the Wall Street side, and then from just sitting down at the kitchen table with a family and figuring out how they can pay off their debts. When I started this whole journey, I was $200,000 in debt and paid off all of that debt and build up a portfolio that I can live off now.
Yeah,
And so I want to take all that experience and apply it to people.
you have a YouTube video with your wife who is involved in this, right? And I watched it, of course, and I urge everybody else to. And you speak about that story about how you went from $200,000 in debt and really clawed your way back up top and and you talked about the sacrifices that you made and how to get there. And I actually really suggest anybody that's in here that's listening to something like that to give it a watch and go and join his Discord. I'll post it again, and then kind of and just get a feel for it and watch some of his older videos and even some of his newer ones. But he does speak about things that, you know, everybody's going through, especially in these markets. So I highly suggest, you know, at least tuning in and subscribing to his channel at minimum, right? Because there's a ton of free content on there, and you have such an amazing amount of knowledge from your experience in finance, and I think that it would do anybody justice to go and at least pick your brain a little bit, right? So
I appreciate that. And the reason I've learned a lot from this channel, from the Frozen Walrus Discord, of how forthright you are, and I like that. And I like to do the same thing. And the reason why I want to talk to people and help them with their finances is because I hear a lot. Like, the number one thing I hear from people about investing is, I can never do it. I'm never going to be able to retire. I'm never going to be able to have a portfolio I can live off of. I just have to work for the rest of my life. So Social Security is not going to be there. And people are discouraged, especially with the market how it is now. People are having a rough time, and we've got to have some hope. And I think hope comes from knowledge.
I agree.
The knowledge that you can do it, and the knowledge that of how to do it, or how to build your portfolio.
Yeah, that was an excellent response. Yeah, I think that, and again, I'm just going to reiterate, like, the reason that I'm even bringing you on, because I think you're probably like my second guest that I've ever had to one of my Ask Me Anythings, is because educated investors, to me, are better investors for the protocol. So if you all as investors are more educated and well-rounded in overall finance, it means that you're not completely contingent on the price currently of Walrus or Walrus Share or whatever you're invested in that's one of my protocols, right? And so with that means there's less emotional response in the markets for my protocols. And so, of course, it benefits me, but you all know that I give out way too much to my community. So it also helps me at the end of the day for you all to be more well-rounded investors. And so, yeah, this is, obviously the only Discord channel that I've really ever shielded and ever pushed for. So hopefully that brings some awareness to where I keep you in my caliber of people that I hang out with. So, all right, number 5. So in your videos, and this is something that you talked about in that 200K video a little bit, you talk a lot about FIRE, F-I-R-E, and financial independence. What is it, and how can we get there?
So FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And retirement is kind of a misnomer. Like, you don't have to retire and just do nothing for the rest of your life. I like to focus on the financial independence, meaning you've got enough money that you don't have to be stressed out about money. And there are different steps to that. There are different degrees of that. It doesn't mean you need to have $20 million. In fact, somebody asked, Giancarlo Rangel said, how much do you think a person needs to have to be able to live off? And we can talk about that and how to figure that out if you'd like. The reason why I called my channel Invincible Robots is because I'm a nerd. I like robots, but also there's so many things, so many systems and processes that you can do to automate a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
That just like a robot or software would do, that makes it so much easier. That can make your finances invincible. So that's where that came from. Nerd gains. I like that. So did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And then the juicy question, what's your market predictions? And I want to first preface that. Let's talk about overall market sentiment and overall market condition, right? With obviously the main contender there being U.S., and then we can talk more maybe about crypto, projections and what you think. So first, overall.
Yeah, let me just add something to add to back to your last question about fire and somebody's question about how much you need to retire. I did a quick video about that on my YouTube channel. You can watch that, and we'll get more into it into the Discord. But there's some formulas that you can use, and I wrote an article all about how to figure out how much you need to retire that I will post if anybody wants to get into more of that, how to figure that out. But there are certain formulas you can use to figure out how much you need to retire and then how much you need to start putting away. And usually people don't know how much, they way overestimate much they need to retire. My brother-in-law, actually, I was talking to him. He's a dentist. He makes a lot of money. And I asked him how much he thought he needed to retire. And he's like, I need $20 million to retire.
Jeez.
And I thought, yeah, good luck.
Oh my God.
And I mean, dentists make pretty good money, but not
right.
that good. Right? And so once we went through how he can do it and how much he would actually need, it was more like $4 million, which is still a lot, but he's a dentist and spends a lot of money. But it was much less than he thought. And most people are like that. Anyway,
you're saying like they over project, because I would over project myself, because you feel like if you cut out your income stream, right? Because I think retirement for me is like you cut out your main income source, right? And so I think I would over project as well, because that fear of like you don't have any money coming in, so you need to hoard, and so you think that when you retire you need more than you currently make, right? Or otherwise, for me, it wouldn't be worth it. So I think that would be a great article to read for myself, even.
Well, yeah. Well, the problem with that is when you way overestimate, it's just depressing.
Yeah.
If you think I have to save $20 million for retirement, then it's so insurmountable that you don't even start. You don't even try.
Yeah.
Because you just think it's crazy, right? So when and then that's not a plan. That's just a shot in the dark. So when you have an actual plan, an actual number to shoot for, it makes it easier to invest, because you think, okay, if I need $1 million, or say I want to half retire and I need 500,000, then you've got a target and you can plan the steps on how to get there. You can figure out how much you have to save. You can figure out, do I want to buy a real estate investment property? Do I want to start a company? You've got a specific target, a goal, a number to shoot for, and then you can backtrack into that and figure out what you need to do to get there. But if you don't know what the number is, then you're just shooting in the dark.
Yeah.
And if you're young, like a lot of people on this, then you've got a lot of time, so it's easier. So it's also helpful to have a number and then have an age or a year that you want to retire, and then back that in, and it makes it so much more doable, so much more achievable, and less intimidating when you've got the numbers, you've got a spreadsheet, and you've got it all figured out. Like, this is what I have to do. Even if it's a little bit of work, of course it's going to be. You can start seeing that progress.
Yeah.
Toward your goal. So to your question about the market sentiment, obviously the sentiment is bad, is down right now. We're on the bleeding edge of finance here in DeFi and in Frozen Walrus. So we kind of know how bad things are. Somebody asked me how old I am. I'm 48. So I watch a lot of the macro, because the macro right now is overpowering the fundamentals. When I got into crypto, and probably a lot of you guys got into crypto, it was the macro didn't matter. The fundamentals didn't matter. It was the rotation that mattered. It was the hype of what the new protocol is, what the big name came out with. Who's the big guy on Phantom?
Harrier or what's his name? Andrew. God, Owen would know this.
Yeah, Andre.
Andre, that's it.
Yeah, like whatever Andre is coming up with, right? And that would be the big thing, one for a couple of weeks, and that would rotate to another thing. And we didn't care, because the macro was great a year ago.
Yeah.
Things were looking good, but things have obviously turned dark because of inflation, the global inflation, and it's still dark. the Fed funds rate went up, was raised 0.75%
Yeah.
yesterday, and the Fed scatter dot plot where they take a summary of all the votes of all the different Fed members shows that we have a percent to a percent and a half raise still to go. So we'll probably have another one next month. And so until that turns around, I don't see anything positive happening in the market.
Yeah.
And that's probably not going to be till the end of the year, maybe early next year.
They call it
We'll,
quantum easing, right? I think is the term that they use. Do you feel like what these rate hikes are effective enough to curb the inflation? And I've heard, and we've talked about it a couple of different shows that I've been on, is that these rate hikes and things like that are doing what they're intended to do. But I want to know: do you think that it's going to alone be enough to reset the market, and that America's market more so? Do you think that the quantum easing is working as it's intended?
well, it's tricky because there's quantitative tightening, which is happening now. Quantitative easing was when the Fed put more money into the market, and they put so much money into the market, and then so much was printed
Yeah.
uh, by all of the spending that Congress is doing that caused most of the inflation that we have right now. Not all of it, but most of it. Quantitative tightening is what is happening now, and then there are the rate hikes. Quantitative tightening is a little bit different than the rate hikes. The tricky part that's happening right now with the Fed raising the Fed funds rate every 5 or 6 weeks is they can't do it too much or we'll go into recession. The Fed has a dual mandate, which is keeping inflation down and also unemployment down. And those are contradictory. They can't do both of those at the same time. So if they
Yeah.
raise the Fed funds rate up too much, then it will destroy the economy. Inflation will increase. And right now, as of now, unemployment is still pretty low. So we've got some ways to go, but it's starting to turn around, and there's signs that unemployment is going to start going back up. We have a long way to go. Unemployment is still pretty good, but in a sense, the Fed has to destroy the economy to destroy
Yeah.
demand because demand is too high. And this is caused by all of the money sloshing around in the system and the price of oil and some other things. Demand is high. Demand for oil, particularly, which is driving inflation over the summer, oil was the big driver, oil and energy, and that went down over the summer because people weren't traveling as much. They cut back on travel because the price of gas was crazy. But the rest of the economy is still hot because everybody's spending money. People are still spending money. The CPI is up. So the Fed has to slow down the economy, and that's part of what they do when they raise the Fed funds rate. But if they do it too much, then we'll go into a tailspin. We'll have stagflation, and then um, we could go the opposite direction and have stagflation, and then deflation, which would also be bad.
Well, thank God I
Uh,
know you for all my financial needs, and because honestly, I don't know how I would be able to keep up with the amount of information that's given out in that category. I'll be honest; it's very hard for me to keep up. As I have 3 kids at home, and I run a DeFi project, so I think that's one of the great benefits of being able to have your Discord and how we've set it up is that we're going to have a lot of information like that kind of sitting around where that you can just kind of read back in a really good format about some of your opinions and thoughts on the market. But specifically, I had another question that just came to mind is, do you see Bitcoin and all of the L1s and altcoins, do you see it where there is a diversion where the U.S. economy and Bitcoin kind of flip each other, or they don't rely on each other, or do you think that they're married forever?
are you talking about the correlation?
Yeah, I'm talking about the correlation. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that correlation will become disentangled once the economy comes back. Once the Fed is starts lowering rates, one of the reason why everything is correlated, not just Bitcoin and Ethereum and all of the layer ones and crypto in general, is correlated with equities. It's all correlated right now. Equities, real estate, crypto, all of the major categories are all correlated right now because the liquidity has been removed from the market. In crypto, most people are in stables. Somebody just commented, Crypto Maxi just said, I thought everyone was in stables. And yeah, that's true. In crypto, the majority of the assets are in stables, and in equities and other places. It's the same thing. There was a report that came out today that said even hedge funds and VC funds have $700 billion in cash sitting in their bank accounts.
And that's bad, right? You don't see that a lot, right? They don't like to keep
Yeah,
straight
no,
cash.
it's very rare because they raised all this money from their investors and it's just sitting in their bank accounts. And if you've heard about the SPACs that were raised about I think 500 different SPACs were raised over the last year, where they raised all this money with the mandate to go and invest it, and most of them haven't invested it, so they're just sitting on the cash, and they're actually giving the cash back to investors. So obviously cash is king, and we probably still have some pain to go.
Yeah.
Because inflation is still high, and it's still going up. That's the problem. It's going up at a slower rate, but it's still going up in the U.S. In the U.K., it's still going up. And so they have to kill inflation. They want to get it down to 2%, but that's not going to happen for a long time. Their target rate, kind of informal target rate, is about 5.5.
Well, so let me ask you, what's your number one bottom indicator for crypto, right? What's your number one bottom indicator that you would use? And then do you think that there is, I don't know if you do much TA, but do you think there's a number in mind for Bitcoin for near a bottom? Either of those two metrics that you have?
Yeah, I don't do a lot of TA, and I know that's very popular in crypto, mostly because, in my opinion, because we haven't had a lot of fundamentals until now. So TA got really, really big and popular.
Yeah.
But now that we have more fundamentals on protocols that are actually making money, that's where the liquidity is flowing right now, is to protocols that are giving returns to investors where they can see an ROI.
Yeah.
But as far as the bottom signal, it all goes back to the Fed, right? Right now, you can't fight the Fed. And my financial planner friends say that when things do turn around, when the Fed stops raising interest rates, that it's going to pop pretty good. Equities are going to pop 25%, which means that crypto is probably going to pop multiples of that. Because even though it's correlated, the amplitude, or the ups and the downs, is a lot higher in crypto, as we all know from being in crypto. So I'm just watching the Fed to see what they do. Once they start to say how bearish they are and continue to raise rates, then we'll start see some things turn around. But
it's all down to
ugly
Powell, huh? It's all down to Powell, man.
Unfortunately, it's down to one guy. Well, it's not one guy. It's
for sure.
It's 12 guys.
But we can pin it all on Powell because he's the face of it. So
it's Powell and his buddies.
Yeah.
And if you want to ask the conspiracy theory side of me, is they need a little bit of inflation because they've run up the debt to $31 trillion. So the debt is so high that they're never going to be able to pay it back.
Yeah.
So they have to inflate it away. They have to inflate it away somewhat. So they may not want inflation to come down right away. If they have at least 5-6% inflation, then people will feel okay about the economy, and they're able to inflate the inflation away. So there are certain investments as the economy turns around. I'd say in the next 6 months, and we start to see things pick up, and investors start to feel better about it. Once we've hit the bottom and inflation starts to come down, then there's certain assets that are still going to be good during inflation. Like equities are good for inflation. Real property is good for inflation. With inflation, I think crypto is still going to be good once liquidity comes back, especially Ethereum. Now that the merge is done, I'm actually surprised that Ethereum has gone down after the merge. But I guess it's because the miners selling their
exactly.
Selling
I think that was an event, and most events right now, any catalyst, it seems like it's just a catalyst for a downturn. In my opinion, it looks like everything has pre-hype, and then because there's no liquidity in the market, whenever there's a catalyst that actually does happen, similar to the ETH merge, it's just all dumps, right? Everybody's like, I just need stables back, so I'll buy Ethereum right now because there's this merge event, and then I'll sell it after. And I think most people are viewing DeFi like that. So I don't think it'll change anytime soon, but that's part of just the mentality.
Yeah, I think it depends also on your time frame. Uh, if you have a long time frame, then the prices right now are pretty good.
Yeah.
If you're thinking you want to put some money in and flip it next month, then good luck.
Yeah.
But if you're thinking you're going to hold for a while, whether you buy Bitcoin at 18,000 or 21,000 or 25,000 isn't going to matter in 5 years. Or
Agreed.
whether you buy Ethereum at 1,200 or 3,000, if you're a long-term investor, it's not gonna really care. So timing the market is not a great idea. But if you are a long-term investor, then you can DCA into different positions that you have confidence in over the long term,
Do you see
as
Bitcoin hitting
long as
six
you have a
figures?
plan. Dollar cost average.
Do you see
So,
Bitcoin hitting six figures?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
I
know. I
kind
always
of
like to
agree
gauge
with.
people on that one.
Yeah, what do you think? Do you agree?
I 100% agree. I think after the halving and stuff like that, and I think the next, and I was explaining this on another show that I was on, is that this next bull cycle, because there is just so much of mainstream kind of hitting DeFi and hitting, crypto in general, that it's been integrated so deeply, which is what it was always intended to be, right? That crypto is being more integrated in our daily lives for what it is because the popularity behind it. That I feel like the next bull cycle is going to be really good. And I hope, obviously, I hope as someone that works full time in it, I hope that, but I also feel it because every single bull cycle, it seems to, ramp up a little bit about where the volatility is and the stop, where it stops at the very top. And I feel like this bear market is really good for crypto because I think this is the first bear market that crypto's ever been in line with that there was also a recession happening, right? And so I think it's good for people in this market, in the DeFi market, to not be or to actually see this event take place. And also it gives everybody a really good opportunity to dollar cost in. But yeah, of course, I see six figure Bitcoin. I don't think DeFi is going away. I don't think crypto is going away in popularity. If there is a casino open, someone's going to go to it always. So that's how I feel
That's for
about it.
sure. I agree with that, but I also say that I don't think crypto is going to be as much of a casino
Sure,
as
regulations
it
will.
has, which is good because over the last, like, I've been in crypto since 2017, so this is my third cycle, and the longer we're in crypto, the more it will turn toward fundamentals.
Yeah.
And if you're a disciplined investor, fundamentals are good for you. If
Mm-hmm.
you're a gamble, and I know we're all a little bit of gamblers.
You have to
If you're a
be.
gambler, then there are always going to be protocols that you can go into that are going to be the long shot. In crypto, we're basically investing in startups. We're investing in high risk, high return.
Yep.
But in crypto, more and more, I think that they're going to be protocols that are not going to be the high risk, high return. They're going to be the uh, solid performers like GMX that are they're actually making money,
Yeah,
and we're going to
GMX
see
is
more
doing
and
really
more of
good.
that.
And I
Right?
think
I love GMX.
I think that like overall crypto markets and the way that you can start crypto and how grassroots it can really be, it's like a vicious, right, startup company in real life, but it's just exacerbated like tenfold here. So like even tomb forks and stuff are like U.S. economies boiled down to very very simplified, not as many middlemen, and all very raw right there in front of you with very little liquidity to support how big it can really get, right? And so I always look at it like that, like it's getting in a time chamber, and these tomb forks and all these DeFi projects just move so much faster than a regular U.S. economy. Or any economy for that matter, but they're all little slivers of what of a boiled down economy system is, and so I think that'll become less and less as regulations start taking place, and you'll start seeing like some tapered off returns that you can't offer 1% daily with these regulations in place, and so there will be a lot more business practice coming into I'm actually excited. Not for regulation per se, but for people that are like-minded like me that just want to run a business and help people out, that we're able to get that opportunity in a safe manner for investors. So it excites me.
Yeah, me too. And whether crypto's going away or not, my answer would be I just posted in the AMA chat on Frozen Walrus. a graph that shows a whole bunch of big companies and how they've invested in crypto. And this is just over, I think it's 2 quarters how much they've invested in crypto, and it's billions of dollars. This doesn't even include the funds that have raised money. Like Andreessen Horowitz has raised billions and billions of dollars that they're putting into crypto. So with all that money coming in, and with senators and Congress people owning Bitcoin and being in DeFi, that makes it less and less likely crypto's going anywhere.
And it really secures a bottom too, right? If these people are investing at, let's say now, it really starts securing a deeper bottom with like institutional liquidity. And that's really necessary to really drive out the amount of volatility that you see in a normal bull cycle and bear, honestly. But yeah, I think as it stretches out and as crypto, turns out of its infancy and people start taking it serious, because right now I really feel like DeFi attracts not long-term investors, right? It attracts degens. It attracts people that are looking for the big wins. It attracts that type of crowd right now. But as it matures, even these investors now will grow out of this kind of cycle in their head of like just wanting to get a new protocol, get a new coin, buy it, sell it here in a week. It'll start being a lot more elastic where they're thinking long term. So I'm excited for that. But yeah, so I think on an end note, is there anybody that wants to ask questions? Get them in now. If you got a couple, okay.
Yeah. Not so savvy wants to know, did you retire before you found crypto?
No, crypto. I had a 10-year plan to retire, and crypto helped accelerate that by a couple of years.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah, did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Crypto also gave me a lot of more gray hair.
Yeah, I understand that. I don't know how I haven't got gray hair yet. I just keep
I've
growing
got
it
a
out and
big
waiting for it.
streak.
Hey, you're getting all new hair.
Yeah.
I've got a large streak of gray hair that wasn't there 2 years ago. What's your favorite tax loophole? Is it carried interest?
What's your favorite tax loophole?
It's a good one.
Yeah. Well, I'd say deductions, and if you're not an American citizen, then moving to a low tax country. American citizens, we kind of get followed around. Um, if you are an American citizen, you can move abroad and use there's a loophole where you can make $106,000 a year without paying taxes, but you have to be out of the United States for 30 days. If you're married, you can double that.
Interesting.
So as far as loophole, I would just say deductions. Yeah, if I'm not a hedge fund manager, so I don't really care about carried interest.
Yeah. What else we got?
All right. Giancarlo wants to know, how much do you think a person needs to have in a portfolio big enough to live off of?
It's basically you take whatever you want to be living off of and you multiply it by 25, and that's the size of your portfolio. Because then you can use the 4% rule, which means you live off 4% of your portfolio. So let's say you have $1 million, 4% of that is 40,000. So you can live off 40,000. And there's some studies that have been done that show that if you take out 4% or less, then you'll never run out of money off your portfolio.
Interesting. Is the recession good for crypto? From Crypto Gamer? Crypto Maxi, rather?
Well, everybody's got a different opinion for that. My opinion is that I think it is good. Kind of like Lame Hillbilly was saying, it flushes out a lot of the people who aren't, a lot of the scammers and a lot of the pump and dump people, and it makes us focus more on fundamentals, which I think is really needed in crypto to make it more legit, is more people focused on fundamentals and building real things.
Yeah,
I think it's good to take a pause every couple of years, and I mean, maybe not as big of a dump as we've had, because it's been really painful for all of us.
Agreed.
But yeah, I think it'll be good in the long run. Well, look at the price of Ethereum. Ethereum is down to $1,200 after the merge, after all of that sell pressure has been removed from the protocol, from proof of work to proof of stake. That's a great opportunity for a lot of people. So a recession, if you have a job, if you've got income coming in, or you've got some cash, can be a really good thing if you don't need to retire right now, the recession is great because you can build up your portfolio. After the 2008 crisis and the financial meltdown we had in 2008, a lot of people became millionaires after that because they bought when others were fearful. They bought when there was blood in the street. They bought when it was painful. When everybody was telling them they were stupid to buy, they were buying and building a portfolio of different things, and it made a lot of people very, very rich. Because after the 2008 crisis, the stock market went on a tear for about 11 years. It was up only for 11 years.
Yeah.
So imagine if you started investing during the bottom, you accumulate for 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, and you keep doing that till 2020, you're going to make millions. So I think we're in a similar situation where right now is the time to make millionaires.
Agreed. Dale, I'm going to run upstairs real quick. It'll take me like 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Just keep it going and ask questions. I'll be right back.
Yeah. I actually have a personal question. What do you do with all the extra time from not having to type NFA in your chat? Because as a financial advisor, you're completely qualified to give financial advice. We have to put NFA in everything we say.
Yeah, I probably should be saying that, but I hope it goes without saying. Um, Technically, I don't recommend specific stocks or specific protocols, so I think that covers me. And I'm no longer a licensed financial planner. I used to be. I used to have all the licenses, and so I was a lot more restricted what I could say.
Nice. So the restrictions being gone is better for you, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Excellent.
it is because I can actually teach people how to build a portfolio and tell them what I think without having to be restrictive. Financial planners are great. If you've got a financial planner, that's great. I would recommend it for a lot of people, but there are certain things that they can and can't say.
All right. I had another one from Rob Air. Do you recommend a traditional IRA or crypto IRA as additional investment, not sole investment for retirement?
Uh, you could do both. I think the most important thing is maxing out your IRA every year you can, and if you work for a company, maxing out your 401k. Uh, Most millionaires become millionaires either through real estate, starting a company, or maxing out their 401k and an IRA, which sounds super boring, right? Like, who's going to tell you just to max out your IRA and your 401k and become a millionaire? But it happens all the time. A lot of people become millionaires just by doing that and doing it over years and years. What's in the IRA, I guess, is more of a question about portfolio allocation and diversification. Having some crypto in there, I think, is a fair idea, but you've got to be diversified in different assets, and that I can't answer because that's financial advice, and it depends on what your goals are. If you're 20, your allocation is going to be different than somebody who's 50 of what you want to put in there.
Oh, I had a question for you that I thought of. What's your biggest top indicator? Looking back now in hindsight in the Bitcoin, do you have any kind of top indicators of when you're like, all right, it was time to sell, right? Do you have any of that you
Yeah,
use?
my top indicator is how many of my friends and family ask me about Bitcoin.
I think that's a common one, right? As soon as we start hearing, I think once all the shit coins are like mooning like crazy, like you just go on CoinMarketCap and there's like 3 top gainers that are over 1,000%. Shit's getting close, right? You need to watch out because if people are throwing that much money in, then the bulls are coming in and they're starting to make their profits. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure all of us have probably been in crypto a long time, can relate to that. At the top of the market is the only time people ask if they should be buying. Like your grandma's calling you
A
up
hundred
saying,
percent, yeah. It's the
but
people that
but
haven't seen the entire struggle that people have faced during the entire the bear market, right? And they just see the gains and they're like, well, is it going to keep going? And then you have all these YouTubers that are saying, yes, 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 buy, $100,000 Bitcoin, right? And then I think that's probably a good indicator of, well, maybe I should be selling a little bit right now and secure this profit.
for sure.
I myself made that mistake, so.
And it goes the other way too. When you see all the YouTubers saying the world is ending and we're going down the toilet and nobody should be investing,
Bottom.
that might be a bottom signal.
Yeah, I agree.
Because people are emotional, especially on YouTube. They put their titles and their pictures up to be hyperbolic, to be emotional, because that's what gets clicked on. And when everybody is freaking out, that might be something. Just like when everybody's euphoric, that might be something.
Agreed. Well, does anyone else have any questions?
We've got another one from Crypto Gamer who wants to know, what do you think of previous or precious metals with the dollar getting stronger?
That's not my area of expertise, so I probably shouldn't weigh in on that. I know some people like gold, like Ray Dalio is always talking about having some gold in your portfolio um, as a hedge, and people have said that Bitcoin is also kind of the same idea, that it's a hedge, that Bitcoin and gold are assets for if the world goes to hell. If everything goes terrible, then those assets will do well. Over the long run, gold has not done that great. So I don't have any gold, but I know some people love gold. So it's I can't really speak to that one. It's not my area of expertise, but I'm not in any precious metals.
Perfect. Well, Dylan, if you don't have any more questions, I can't tell if you do you?
I have some for you
Okay.
about Glacier and stuff.
Well, let's get Big T out of here.
Yes.
If you're good, if you have any closing statements, you can go ahead and say them now, and I want to post your Discord one more time in the chat, and I'll make another announcement later on. If you haven't joined his Discord, please make a notion to. We're really trying to grow the Discord and help him out. Obviously, he has a slew of knowledge about a ton of stuff in finance, and it would be a kindness to me to join the Discord, but also it would be a favor to yourself. There's a ton of content, and I think he's going to be ramping it up, and he has a lot of plans for it. So, go ahead.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, and I love the Frozen Walrus community. I've been in here a long time. I'm a lot quieter than a lot of you guys. So thanks for having me as a guest. I appreciate the questions, and I would love to have you guys over on the community to talk about investments. I don't know everything. I'd like to continue to bring on some people that know a lot more than I do in different areas. Like I said, the real estate guy, he knows all about real estate, and we'll have some Q&As and bring some resources for all of us to continue to build our portfolios. So
I agree, and I'll be over there in Invincible Robots. We'll be setting up things for the community to do, and to bring on bigger guests, and to get you access to people that aren't just in DeFi, right? Like, my goal in Frozen Walrus is to, of course, teach everybody about, DeFi in general, Two Forks in general, but it all focuses on that really volatile market of DeFi. And so with Invincible Robots, it'll expand very, very far past that, and you'll learn a lot about different types of investments for your own portfolio. So I do urge you to at least join it, and get active and ask questions. He's an extremely knowledgeable guy, and he's also generous with his time, and so he likes to answer questions just as I did. And if he didn't get to it, then I'll make sure he does at some point. I'll be marking them down. So thank you again for coming up. Again, I don't have a lot of guests on, so it was really nice. Breath of fresh air, even to have somebody else up here and to be able to ask somebody else questions. And I think you did excellent today. So thank you for coming up, man.
I appreciate that. Thanks for having me, and thanks for joining up with me on the Discord. You're a great moderator and a great Discord community builder. So it's going to be really fun to build something with you over on the other Discord. So thanks again, everybody, and I'll see you guys around.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later. All right, let me get Top Gun.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, but for some reason you're echoing. Can you change your mic settings?
Yeah, hold on.
You fucking degen. All right, now I know there's less people in here today. We had a little bit of a drop. I think people thought that we were ending, but now it's about to ramp up. We're about to talk about Walrus and get excited and talk about the events that are going to be taking place. So if you're still here, sit back and relax. We probably have another hour's worth of content. So hope you're enjoying your Friday. Can you try and change your audio output device there, Captain?
I just did.
Well, it sounds worse.
Did it not work?
It sounds fucking worse. And it didn't earlier. That's the weird part, is it didn't earlier.
All right, now what does it sound like?
Say something again.
Now what does it sound like?
I still sound like shit. We're just gonna ride it. It's just
We're
kind of
gonna
like
run it.
it's kind of like echoey almost. Anyway, thank you, Robert. I think he is an amazing guest. Honestly, you know, I knew he was jam packed full of knowledge. He's very well spoken and an extremely generous man. And his wife is lovely as well. When they approached me together about this venture. And he is an A1 person in DeFi, and I really enjoy. I've actually asked him, you know, just with his knowledge and his repertoire of stuff, I've actually asked him a lot of financial stuff for Frozen Mars specifically, like, hey, does this economically, you know, work out? Is this ethical? Is this, you know, whatever else? And he's always answered me, and he has been riding with me since Snowy Owl, and you don't get a lot of people that are like that. He's a very genuine person. So, all right. So if you're still here, welcome again to Tuss Talk Fridays. We have a lot to talk about, I think. We have a lot of questions, I think.
We do.
And we are going to get into it. So just for some preemptive stuff is that the website should be done next week. According to Jumpman, he did have an event to go to for his, you know, regular job. But he is coming back to start working on that website. He said that it should take about a week. Also, with Glacier, you could take it as bad news or good news. But with Glacier specifically, is like we're not just doing a fork of Equinox or Balancer. We're really fundamentally changing the tokenomic structures of Balancer decks, and that starts with the farm token. And so we've really, like me and Owen, have had long chats where we have, you know, talked with each other about this or that, or what do we think about this, and we modeled it out. And it's more effort than I put into anything yet. Just because I didn't want a farm token that was just a dump token, right? And I wanted to find a way to integrate Walrus, and so it's taken longer on that aspect. You know, we're very close to like the development side of it, and we of course have the development team to do it. We now have 3 devs. We have me and Owen leading the pack, and of course Top Gun doing what he does best, which is community. And so like he's really stepped up. And so I have to say I appreciate that, that I have not been able to be as active, but where I am less active, he has become more active and really stepped up and taken that role. So where there's a lot of good things cooking, but the biggest thing I think coming up soon is Walrus Anglers Club, right? Walrus Anglers Club. Brando, don't worry. I do see your messages. I'm just trying to stay on topic before I try and come after the "Win Rug Me" comment or the "Al is dead" comment. Don't worry, I do see you. You are noticed, but I'm happy you're here. But Walrus Anglers Club, of course, is a 10,000 NFT mint for a portion of profits from a mining farm. And so just to let you guys know, like the legal aspect is completely wrapped up and done for you. You will we'll actually have documents of the leases and the purchases of the miners. All of that will be available and transparent to you because we're doing it all through you know, actual lawyers and stuff. So you all as users will get access to all of that information, just so you guys know, hey, look, this is official. And also for any new users coming in that want to see that kind of, you know, information before they invest. You know, this isn't just like some little half-ass project. I really wanted to make sure that we really push it. So. Yeah, so that's coming up. You should see some legal documents come out before the 30th to speak about the leasing and where exactly the lease is. So what is good about C17, Sean, that was brought on to the last Ask Me Anything is this is what he did, right? He found a way, or this is what he did for about 2 years, is that he found these mining companies that are loaded with cash, and he was able to get very good pricing on mining equipment. And he priced it out for people, and that's what he did. So we are getting very good prices. We're getting, you know, cutting edge miners, and also it doesn't just stop here. We really have an inclination of doing mining as a service for DeFi projects, and this is all just like initial talks, so nobody get super excited yet. But we are doing something like a mining as a service where we're able to offer to other protocols for a fee. Where we price out miners and we set up the farms for them, and they give us obviously the upfront cost of those miners, and then we take a small percentage fee on top of that. So he has the infrastructure to do that, right? And that's one of the things that we want to bring into it. But we are doing proof of concept with a hell of a great art style of Walrus Anglers Club. So I'm very excited about that. But I do need to make sure, again, that I reiterate that we're not looking to sell out in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. In this market, it is going to take weeks to months to sell out 10,000 NFTs with the pricing that we did. Now, the good thing that we have is that any competition that we had, we're actually underpricing ourselves. And we're at $100. It's about one of the cheapest mining NFTs that you can get. So I'm very excited to see what that does. I have linked up with Dow King to start an entire marketing push that we're going to be paying for. So that will be happening over the next coming weeks. And we may push it even further depending on. And then another thing is that Frozen Walrus Treasury will likely retain about 5% of the total mints. And that's so that Frozen Walrus, because we've built this product, because we've built the foundation for it and fronted the money, we want to make sure we are getting a lucrative piece of that pie and that we have more recurring revenue, because that's what it's all about. Why build a service if we're not gaining revenue from it, right? I don't want to up the price. I don't want to up the price because I want it to be a smaller point of entry. Yeah, so that's how I feel. And I don't want to change anything of the structure right now. $1,000. What are we on chain? No, we're not doing that. I want everyone to feel like they can own a piece of this, right? The art style's great, but I also just want people to feel like, okay, these are reasonably priced where I can feel like I could take this risk, right? And that's really what I wanted to. I thought in my head, at this market, at this stage, where the market's at, what would you be willing to pay for an NFT, right? How long, if you gave me $100, you're not expecting the high return of interest because you haven't taken on the big risk associated with a $400 mint. And so we're able to really build a foundation on it. 10,000 per mint. My God, Frozen Walrus would be pegged tomorrow. I don't know about the on-chain docs for his project. I'm surprised he even has it. So just speaking on that, I'm going to go full Brian Legend, and I am just going to be a marketing ploy for my own project, and I'm going to turn into a marketer, and I'm going to pull a little bit off Brando, and I'm going to start streaming strictly shirtless, and that should help us get a bit of a boost. But after the shirtless, then I'll start getting tattoos of walruses and get a walrus sleeve. So we're really going to be a walking billboard here. But past that, I'm very excited. Obviously, you can tell that I'm probably in higher spirits than I have been in quite some time. It's because I'm excited. We have Glacier, we have liquidity migration, we have Walrus Anglers Club. A lot of things we're taking super serious during this time. And I feel like I've just been grinding and working and connecting with the right people. And I'm just excited. We're going to have the only balancer decks on AVAX, and we have the team to make it super official. We're going to be contacting Ava Labs. We're going to be trying to get huge partnerships. I'm not looking for just little project partnerships. I want this shit to be talked about in 2 years. I want Glacier to be looked at in 2 years and see where it's been, right? And to take market share from other Avalanche decks. And that's not me saying that I'm going after Avalanche decks, but I want Balancer Tech to be one of the top decks that we can do, and I think Balancer Tech will get us there. So, who knows in this market, but I'm busting my ass. You guys are holding, and so anybody in this chat, I know that you're probably holding, minus Brando, and I just really, really appreciate it, right? And I really appreciate everybody still riding with me in this terrible fucking market, and anybody in the chat that's been defending where we're currently at. And I know the prices suck, so I feel like I always say this, but it's just to me, I always dreamed of having this kind of audience and having people that felt strongly enough to invest in me or invest in my protocol, and being able to come out here and speak to you all. I feel like the appreciation has to be shown every fucking time, because I do. So you go to YouTube, Brando. Damn, man, you're moving up. Def minus Brando.
All right, you ready for some questions? Or you got more to say?
I'm good for now. This ain't a podcast. But hold on, let me speak about the podcast. A little bit in depth. Space Games with Dave has done a kick-ass job on this podcast. I'm not joking, guys. I think you guys are going to be really happy with this podcast because there's not a lot of DeFi podcasts, right? And I could talk for hours. Everybody knows that. So this is like the perfect format for me. We have all kinds of little games and things to bring up and to do, and I think it's going to be a really great platform for me and Dylan and Space Games with Dave, and we're just going to get on there and we're going to talk shit about other people and about myself. We even have a section we're hoping to do where you guys can talk shit about me, and then then Dylan can read it really mean to me. And just like small things like that I think are going to be really engaging for you all as an audience, and you could just pop it on while you're working or whatever else. So I'm really happy with that. Also, merch. I'll let Top Gun take that over because fuck him. He hasn't done it yet. So
merch is done. We just have to build the Shopify store, connect it to the LLC, etc., etc. I look to have merch out for Tusk Talk next week.
Look at that, huh?
Fucker.
I told him he was fired if he didn't get that. No, I'm kidding. I didn't say that.
How many times have you fired me since we started this?
I don't know, man. Yeah. So I think that's all the main information. We could talk a little bit to people, and don't switch. Yeah, let's talk. What do we got for questions? Go ahead.
Flame had a question earlier this week that I made him put in the chat. It is, can the Treasury break LP for W share before the Walrus Anglers Club met?
Yeah, so most of our liquidity for the Treasury is entirely in nodes. Oh, shit, sorry. Yeah, it's entirely in nodes, so we can't break whatever's there, but everything else I think we've already split. Oh, and also, while GDB's here, GDB, don't worry. I have a slew of content, and I felt like a really big spark. I may even record some videos tonight. I just actually saw that shorts are being monetized on YouTube now. So that's pretty cool. And I'm really excited to kind of start trying to develop. People are saying that you can't hear, or you can't hear me, or you can't hear Top Gun.
They're saying they can't hear me.
Yeah, it's shit audio. What is that?
It's the headset. I told you this is why I'm buying a new one.
Well, don't you have another? Don't you have another mic? Oh my God, you sound like you're in synth. You are synthwave.
That's so sweet. No, I don't have another mic. This is it.
Oh my God.
Hold on, let me just. That sound.
It sounds worse. Everything sounds worse. Hold on, let me make sure it's coming through like that too. I'm gonna listen to my YouTube real quick. Do anybody justice to?
It's the headset.
Oh my God, it sounds trippy. Don't you have another? It's trippy as hell. Hold on. Yeah, they're saying you're echoing.
Turn me up.
You're up, buddy. Hold on, let me exit out and come back in. All right, does it sound better now when I'm by myself? Oh my God, you sound like you're in. My God, this is, it's. Hold on, let me see. Let me try and fix this. Everybody hang out. I want to make sure this is right. I did switch. Let's see. I bet that this is something in my audio where it's only recording my left, but I also hear that it's crap. Yeah, they're saying here. Hold on, I'm still trying to figure it out. I want to make sure this is right. I did switch. Oh my God, dude, this is trippy. What is up? I can't tell if it's my stream. Do I sound okay in the Discord? Top Gun?
Hear me?
Yeah, but it's still fucked. I don't know what's happening. It's completely scratched, dude.
Someone said I sound like God now.
Have you heard the YouTube? It's like awful.
No.
It's like seriously bad, and I don't know why. I'm pissed off now. I don't like this.
I'm sorry. This won't happen again. The new mic comes in.
It's not just you though. It sounds like this. Hold on. It's all bad.
I'm blaming you.
Hold on. I'm disconnecting again. completely botched, dude. I don't know what's going on. It's weird. Uh, I don't know. I don't know what to do. It's really pissing me off. Yeah, I don't know why I just decided to do this. It's really upsetting me though, and I feel like I don't want to keep going with terrible audio, right? Yeah, I get that I get people like it, but I have no idea why I have no idea why it's doing this. It makes no sense. None of my settings have changed whatsoever. So it's quite odd.